In this video, we'll cover everything you need to know to scan your film with a tethered camera. First, let's talk about the basic recommendations for settings. In our case, we'll be using a Canon R5 with a macro 100mm lens, but you can use any compatible camera. Let's turn it on first, and then we'll select the optimal camera settings from Capture One to avoid touching the camera and accidentally misaligning it with the film carrier. So this is how you set up the camera settings from Capture One. We have the camera with all of our settings: ISO, shutter speed, aperture. You should always use the native ISO settings of your camera. This will depend on the model. In our case, this means we'll be using ISO 100. This will allow us to capture as much data as possible from the limited information contained in the negative. You should always use a prime lens with an aperture set to f5.6, f8. Typically, 5.6 is the sharpest, but in some cases, due to field curvature, it may be difficult to get the entire analog frame to be sharp across the digital sensor, in which case f8 becomes useful. We'll go for f8 this time. Having a set ISO and aperture settings means that it's the shutter speed that will determine the exposure of the RAW file. Let's first adjust this to an approximate value like 1/8 of a second, for example. And then, a bit later, we'll talk about how we can refine this and make sure we choose the right value for the perfect exposure. Now that we covered the basic setup, let's load the film into the carrier. Now we'll turn on the light. And now we're ready to trigger the live view to adjust the position of the carrier. This we do from this button here. Now it's time to adjust the height of our camera and focus until we cover as much area of the camera sensor as possible. I think we can get it a little bit closer. And we could even do a little bit more. So it's possible you may have to redo this step multiple times until we get the optimal framing. So let's refocus again. We can also go to the preview of 100%. We should always try to have the film grain on focus. So let's do that. Okay, that's good. Now, if you see the focus going soft around the edges, it may be due to field curvature. In that case, if you're on f5.6, you may want to close down to f8. If you have a high-resolution sensor of 35 megapixels or more, you could also take the camera a little bit further up so the frame is more centered and the field curvature won't affect your scan. Now I have realigned the film strip to make sure it is parallel to the edges of our sensor. Now to help align each frame of your film roll, you can also use the guides. To add a guide from the live view window, click on View, Guides. And now we'll just go on Customize Guides and add some horizontal and vertical lines. Now we can reposition these to align with the edges of the frame. And now we'll do the same thing. We'll just add one more horizontal guide and one more vertical guide. And we'll reposition to the other side. Now when we advance the film, we can align the guides with the corner of the negative so we know exactly where to position the next frame. Now, having a perfectly accurate white balance is not essential while processing images. However, to make copy applying settings possible across multiple images, we want to ensure the white balance is set up to a fixed value to maintain a consistent look. So we'll set up the camera in manual white balance, so like color temperature, just to avoid any auto. So to set up the optimal white balance for a specific type of film, we'll first capture a frame. We can release the trigger from this button here. And then we will just use the white balance cursor tool to set up the setting from part of the film roll base. Thanks to the default functioning of next capture adjustments, this white balance setting will be applied to all subsequent captures. Make sure to set the white balance while in the photography mode. You can check this out here on the base characteristic settings before converting to the negative. This will ensure the RGB channels are correctly aligned before shooting for the right exposure. So now, how do we do that? So to ensure the maximum dynamic range, we need to photograph the negative with as much information as possible. So now we'll switch to linear response settings in the base characteristics tool. So on the curve here, we'll just choose linear response. This will allow us to maximize the exposure of the frame. Then we will turn on the exposure warnings from this button up here on the toolbar to help us expose the negative to just below the point where the highlights start to blow out. We want to make sure that the highlight warnings are set to 255. So to do this, we'll go into the Capture One settings, right here, to the Exposure tab, and make sure that the exposure warning is set to 255. Now we will capture various frames, increasing the exposure gradually. So let's go to 1/6 of a second now. We'll keep doing this until we hit the maximum exposure level possible while avoid clipping the highlights. I think we can go a little bit slower, so let's take 1/4. We can go even to 1/3. Okay, so this is when it starts to clip, so in our case, this will be the right exposure. Since the light source is consistent and this roll has all been captured under the same light conditions, we will use the same exposure for the whole film roll. At this point, we are ready to batch scan all the frames in the roll. So after shooting the first frame, simply advance the film until the next frame aligns with our guides. After we're done shooting this strip, we'll on the next, and so on until we have shot the full roll. And then we'll be ready to convert the negatives.